All right, welcome back. Let's see if we can go live here. Second try at this. First try wasn't doing too good. All right, we're good. So we're going to carry on. Welcome back to GPT with me, your host Travis Frisinger, me, and also known as your AI adventurer. So cool. We're looking good. All right, so we're going to get back into things. Let me just switch to the work stream here. So quick recap. Yesterday, last episode, I went through building a real simple generative AI shell using a various few tools to kind of get bootstrapped on ideas, and then started feeding that into ChatGPT and chatting with my code. Talked about kind of the difference between a copilot, working with a copilot in code versus kind of a bigger picture ChatGPT ideation to kind of flesh out the framework, which is where I'm at. On the agenda, we're going to flesh out the UI shell. There's a couple things I want to get to. I think that would be beneficial to kind of get nestled in while it's still manageable. And then ideally, we'll at least make it to step 2, where I'm going to do a little in-memory API. No auth, none of that stuff, just simple back-end server. Excuse me. Can I, get it to call the Python script to get a result, to come back to the UI to display, at which point we'll probably say huzzah and call it a day. Hopefully we can get there in a reasonable amount of time. All right, so just to refresh, here's the UI. The idea is you put a URL in, you tell it the transcription type. You can give it a small prompt based on some parameters around the OpenAI prompt field. For the Whisper stuff, basically, it's not like a regular chat. It's going to be good at like correcting spelling, acronyms, punctuation. If you want filler words, there's a little bit of variability here. You may notice that things are slightly different than where you left them. I just couldn't help myself. I carried on writing some code. The idea being that I've got in an awkwardly placed. I put it here, a user menu. There's a sign in with Google, probably be a few other things. There's a little notifications panel here. I'm kind of thinking this is where the requests are going to go. They're going to sit there and kind of spin. Being ambitious, maybe with time remaining and all that kind of stuff, I can get a duration and a few title and that pretty quickly. But it's the idea. We're trying to frame it up like this doesn't look great, but I chatted with it to get here. All I did was kind of carry on the dialogue, and it's been really good at like giving me components. There's a notification component. It's not just smashing all the code into one file and saying, "Hey, cool, look, you're good. Keep going." It's clever enough to know how to break it into components. Now I say that caveated because it presented me with an A/B experiment, one of these classic cases where you get two panels and you got to pick a response. I don't know if I can find it here. There's a lot to scroll through. And in one version, it wanted everything in one file effectively, which is, I guess in the truest prototype sense, maybe is slightly better. And it's how I'm used to working with this. I've been kind of playing with this technique for a while, and I used to have to concat everything into one file and feed it through in order for it to kind of work. It seems to be a lot better at carrying that context, understanding I want things componentized. And it really does help to have one single chat where it's got the full history of things. Obviously, I'm not making a lot of changes outside, and if I am, I have to feed those changes back into the ChatGPT session. Would Copilot be easier? Probably not. Copilot's going to kind of tell me the next step or kind of help me do an autocomplete type thing where it's going to scaffold out bits of code. That's becoming slightly annoying as I rearrange code. It keeps wanting me the tabs to take the suggestions rather than in Python indenting. Maybe a small issue with my choice of language or tooling. I don't know. It's not enough yet where I'm super annoyed. I might turn off the Chromium stuff. There is some value in that extended autocomplete type of mentality. But really the goal here is to continue driving out with ChatGPT. Want to continue building out that shell to the point where I can fire up the back end. So I've done that. I've driven out. It's given me this here. That's okay. So let's start by what was on our agenda. Notifications. We've got a basic menu. We've got a user menu. How about we ask it to click to close both when we click away? So we'll come here and we'll say, I noticed if I open the user menu or notifications that they stay open when I click around. Please make them close. Okay, so we're going to come back. We're going to give the LLM a bit of feedback about what it contextually understands the state of the software to be. It's going to go off. It's going to think about that. And it's going to give me some steps. Now, I really like the fact that it's breaking it down into steps. It's giving me pieces to update. It's keeping things componentized. It's easy to work with, though it does seem to be a little slower than usual today. If Grok had the really fast inference tool, had access to this model, I would probably just use it there. Ideally, that would be the best of all worlds, but it's working. It's coming out. I wish sometimes there was just like present me with the steps and just plunk the code there. But it's not designed to work that way. All right, so what do we got changes to? So we add the event listeners to detect clicks. Seems sensible. It's telling me to update the notifications component. I'll get there in a second. I just want to review the changes, and it's telling me to update the drop-down menu. And then it's telling me how it got there. They use ref, they use effect, the handle click outside. Okay, so it seems all sensible. Let's go copy the notifications. Let's go find the notifications piece here. Notifications.tsx. I'm gonna plunk that in. Come back to my chat here. Find the drop-down menu. We're going to go copy that in. And, the more I think about this, there might be a way to work around drop-down menu. Work with this slightly differently. I'd love to think about that. I don't really want to go write a copilot. So this works, and this is an experiment, right? Low friction, seeing if I can create value. So it's there. Let's open that one up. Oh, yay, and yay. Cool, we got it. All right, so in the name of being a good developer, get status, get add, commit, m, not m, and remove logo, and got menus to close when click side of them. Get push. Cool. All right, so I got some notifications, I got some menu, I got a small update, and it's really fluid and awesome. I can't express how streamlined this process has been over the number of months I've been trying to work with this. It started off horrible, and it's gotten a lot better to the point where I can just keep a chat context and chat with it and ask it to do things, and it's getting them right. And I've never experimented with anything larger than this. In fact, usually I get to probably just about this, a bit smaller than this size, and it doesn't work anymore. It has problems. So it's really nice to kind of see things scaffold together. It's able to take my input. It's able to action it. Now, you may be thinking, why aren't you using more libraries like Tailwinds and all of that? I alluded to wanting to keep things simple. It's just going to confuse the LLM. It's going to confuse me. I'm not an expert in that. My time with CSS goes back to the beginning. I like to keep it simple, and for what I'm doing, it's perfectly fine. It's a prototype. Like I said, the experiment here isn't the framework or the working with the code. It's working with an LLM to produce code that I have to minimally adjust. Can I ideate? Can I prototype? Can I move forward in a way that requires as little human coding as possible, if that makes sense? And how good is the LLM at helping me in that process? Not in a co-piloting sense, but in a true ideation partner. I consider co-piloting more of just a fancy autocomplete at this stage. And it's me, it's my perspective. You may love it, and that's great. All right, so we got a couple things going on here. We can view the details. We'll probably want to do a little bit of refinement there. Close button works. I don't want the menu here anymore. I deliberately moved it so that I could come back on today's live stream and move it back. I can't tell you how fluid it was to move from the upper corner here down to here. Only thing I had a problem with was getting it to remember that the menu needed to flip up, not down. doesn't seem like it's a crazy thing. So let's go back here. Now let's move back up to the top right corner. Next to the notifications, make. When it opens, it does hide any hide notifications icon. So I'm giving it a pretty specific instruction. Remember, it's good at like one thing at a time. If I ask it to do complicated things and, it's more likely to get confused. So if I can ask it to do small little updates along the way, and once again, I can't express how cool it is. It's giving me steps. It's putting things into components. It understands. It's generally getting it right. I would argue probably more right than some junior developers, and a lot quicker than some junior intermediate developers, maybe even some seniors. I don't know. The industry's fragmented on what that all means, but that's me digging into things maybe I shouldn't be. But ultimately, it's here. Now, it would be nice maybe if I could hint at it to just give me a diff of changes, but that kind of breaks my workflow. If it was a little more integrated into my IDE, it might be a bit easier to work with. But for right now, this works. I can go take the header. Well, first of all, let's review. Let's review the changes. It does not hide when opened. Update the header. Ensure proper positioning and visibility of both the notifications icon and the user menu. Okay, great. Update the drop-down menu component. Ensure the drop-down menu closes when clicking outside and does not overlap with the notifications icon. And ensure proper app layout. I don't know what it's changing here. I find sometimes it does emit what looks like essentially the same thing. Without a diffing tool, I'm not going to be able to pick up on maybe the few characters that have changed. There's an element of trust, but this is exploration. This is can I create something of value using LLMs to drive that value creation? Excuse me. So move the drop-down menu back. So it knows that it was somewhere else because it's got the full chat history. Adjust to ensure it does not overlap. Add proper top and right positioning to avoid overlap. Should next to each other, does not hide, and this ensures a clean, organized layout. Okay, so let's go back to our top of our instructions. Step 1, update the header. So I'm going to copy. It should just be called copy and paste with me. That's the nature of experimentation, right? Things are going to feel a little weird, a little backwards. My tooling and workflows haven't been super refined. Oh, I missed a step. So I went to step 1, step 2, update the CSS. All right, CSS is updated. Step 3, drop-down menu. Okay, we'll put that in. And then we've got the app CSS. There we go. Make sure I'm not screwing things up too bad. All right, so the menus come back. Oh, it's a little funny. I don't know what's going on there entirely, but that's okay. It's a multimodal language model, right? So I can go take a screenshot. I can feed it in. It's no different than if I were doing this myself. I would have made probably a very similar set of changes, would have checked it with my eyes and went, oh, yeah, okay, I didn't quite get that right, or I got that right, or maybe I'm really good at this, so I just got it all right the first time. That totally happens. I think I can count twice in my lifetime that I've written a big chunk of code and hit compile and run, and it's done what I wanted it to. But that's only been in service of another bigger step that I was taking. And I wouldn't say these were huge steps, maybe like 50 or 100 lines of code. Out of 22 years, that's not a great track record for just getting it right the first time. It is machines. I get that. We may expect machines to be better, but the generative aspect makes machines start to behave a little bit more like humans, a little bit less predictable. And I think we're on a journey to find a way of working with that, right? That's my journey. Hopefully you're along for the ride too. Maybe you're doing your own experiments. Fantastic. All right, so we got a little bit of a situation, and I want to just let the LLM know about that. So I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm probably going to just zero in on this specific piece here. So we'll copy it, and we'll see what it has to say. I'm going to be like, I am getting some funny behavior where the user menu is off the screen as per the screenshot. Please. So I'm telling it what the issue is, and then I'm asking it to do something about that issue. Please fix it. So now I could let it just figure out what needs to be fixed. Some people do that with developers. Some people are a little more explicit. I find with LLMs, keep it small, keep it pointed, or explicit. So in this point, please fix it so the menu is fully on the screen. Funny white box is gone. So I'm guessing my instruction about not overlap and hiding the icon caused it to do something that put a little bit of a funny behavior in. Technically correct, but not kind of addressing the full needs of what I wanted. Let's fix the issue that is going off the screen, remove the funny privacy related to positioning, and possibly the padding margin of the drop-down menu. All right, it's done some analysis as well. I said, here's a problem, here's how I want to fix it. It's like, oh, yep, cool, gotcha. This is likely the root cause. It feels like a developer interaction. It really does. So it's asking me to update the header CSS, make sure the menu is positioned relative to the container. That seems very sensible to me. Here it's going to update the header component. Yeah, things are running a little slow. We'll see how the stream goes today. I didn't anticipate ChatGPT being quite as slow. Slightly faster last night. Or maybe just I'm used to it and I'm becoming impatient. I never discount that as a possibility. Okay, so let's review the changes. First change was, hey, update the header CSS, update the header component, and update the dropdown. And then it's telling me what it's changed, how this should be better. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see if it was right. Header.css. That's there. Header.tia, the header TypeScript, and the drop-down menu. Let's go back here, drop-down menu. Is that everything? That was everything. Nope. Did not see the changes. Let's go make sure I haven't got anything funky in the background. Nope. I'm gonna go tell it that did not fix the issue. All right, so I'm telling it that, I asked for a change, didn't come out, I still got the change. Let's make sure that behavior is still there. Let's see what it has to say. Let's refine the approach to properly align and not overlap or go off the screen. Okay, so it's carrying the context. It still knows I don't want it to go off the screen as well as overlap on the other icons in the menu. It's giving me the steps here. We're getting all the CSS. It'd be really nice if I could tie the assets into this and it would just manage them and update them. All happen a little bit more like a conversational artifact in Claude where it's off to the side. And I don't know, there's different ways to do this, but building out the framework to get a nice chat interface to even go do those experiments is quite tedious. Okay, so it's giving me some stuff, going back to the app to update that. Remember, the goal here is to write as little code as possible, really just trying to prompt the LLM to give me the code I need to get that UI shell fully fleshed out to the point that I can start working with it to write the backend API. That's just in memory for now, no login, just can it go through, pick up the, execute the Python code we were using to kind of experiment. Okay, so it's telling me this time that it really thinks it's going to work. So let's go here, header update. Okay, pasted it there. Let's go look at the header CSS. Pasted it there. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Drop-down menu. Paste that there. And app.css. That's interesting to know is once the app.css updated. I find often, nope, I don't think it got it. All right. None of these changes are working. So it's still compiling. Things are looking healthy there. Fix positioning, which should the drop-down menu in the line correctly does not go off the screen with other elements. Update the header component. Okay, update the CSS. So this menu's still here and working. This one's definitely not doing what I was hoping it would do. So let's come back here. Let's see how this is going. Update the header. Okay, ensure proper layout. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Header. Oh, here we go. Now we're updating. All right, well, let's see. Let's see where the code gets to here. I would say from an experience perspective, it's been fun. It's been interesting. I may have asked it to do something too much. It may need me to just go tweak a few things and feed it the fresh code. That's where things start to get a little bit annoying in the experience, changing lots of files. I'm going to try this one more time, and then I think I'm going to have to intervene. So here's the header code. Save that. Header.css. Save that. What else do we have here? Then we got the drop-down menu. Let's go have a look at that. Okay, that's changed a little bit. And what's the last thing? It's all this. They always update the app CSS. Update. Nope. All right, let's go figure out what's going on. So what's this? This is the drop-down menu with a button. Cool, so I'm gonna go copy other HTML. I'm gonna see if I can feed it this. So this segment is causing the white button and with the menu shifted. Let's see. So I gave it a little bit more precise information. Think of it more like a pair programming exercise here. I'm trying to prompt it. It needs just a little bit more technical help under the hood here. We'll show the drop-down menus open quickly and proper line up and drop-down menu component. All right, let's see if it can get there. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. If it can't, I'm probably going to abandon this. We'll come back to it later. I don't want to hold up kind of fine-tuning some of the other elements. see what we can do there, how that's all going to work out. Because remember, we want to get to a point where we got the click away. That's done. User menu, done. We'll say it's in progress. Notifications, it's in progress. There's a little bit I want to do there. And in progress. So at the very least, if we can get this set of points checked off, I feel pretty happy and accomplished about what we're trying to do here. So we'll see if that's made any difference, if we've been able to give it a little bit more insight. All right, well, let's see here. Copy code, that is the menu. Is that the drop-down menu? Yeah, that was the drop-down menu somewhere. Forgot about things on my way here. CSS, let's go paste that in. Awesome. Header. All right, and header. All right, let's see if we got it. Ah, ha, ha, there we go. Look at that. We gave it slightly more information, and it was able to fix it. So sometimes maybe you do need to just dial into the detail ever so slightly. I didn't write any code. I did not change any code. I just helped to debug. So think of it from a paired programming perspective. I was the navigator. It was the driver writing the code. I'm helping guide it. All I'm doing, it's all I'm trying to take is that kind of paired programming concept, but now working with an LLM where I'm just using language like I would with a human being and asking it to do things with the code. Kind of a funky little idea. Maybe there's something there longer term, different kind of a concept to explore. I don't know. I'm having fun. All right, yay! So that I did not expect that to work. I am actually impressed. I really am, and I've been doing this for a while, so that's really saying something here. Over 18 months trying to figure out how to program with an LLM that isn't a copilot. Anyway, that experience has a time and a place. Get status, get add, get commit, fixed user menu, get push. I'm obsessive about pushing things. Awesome. Cool. What's the next thing I want to tackle here? Back to the list. User menu. But that is done. Notifications. I'm not super stoked with the notifications here. So I'm going to ask it to do something. I'm going to take a little screenshot. Menu placements, not ideal, but you know, that's something I can maybe come back and finesse either on my own or with it. I want to get a little bit further along here. Okay, cool. Now let's focus on adjusting the notification menu. I want it to be wider. And for there to be 2 notifications, but in a pretty card with a close right now. So I'm saying I want to change. Right now it's too squished, and I cannot remove a notification. All right, that might be too much. It might give me some kind of wackadoo hoo-hoo. I might be asking too much for what's going on. So I figured by adding 2, it's kind of a one-to-many concept here. What does it look like with 2 versus 1? Obviously, these are hard-coded, right? You know, when we get to wiring in the API, we'll have to make that a little bit more dynamic. It's that whole in-memory concept. But for right now, you know, we're pairing with an LLM. We're driving this out. Maybe I should change the title to pairing with an LLM to generate a UI. I don't know. Anywho, things are moving along. That's happening. I'm happy with that. Let's see. Let's go up to the top. Let's enhance the notifications menu by making it wider, displaying two notifications, and adding a close button to remove notifications. We'll also style the notifications card to make them more visually appealing. All right, so it seems to have gotten everything I requested. Okay, notifications component. Yep, that makes sense. The CSS, that makes total sense. I don't know. I gotta ask it. What did you change in app.css? Because I just don't get it. Maybe I need to be a bit clearer. Okay, well, it's busy re-admitting the file, so there's got to be some help with hints there. Let's go find the notifications. Let's go paste that in. Get myself the CSS. Paste that in. And then I want to see what it says. Oh, kind of misunderstood. All right, well, anyway, let's go back to the app. Let's paste that in. Oh, that's actually a lot more visually appealing. It did not do a bad job. I think for a prototypey type stage, that's okay. I'm going to ask it to make one tiny change, and I'd like that to just be a smaller box there. So back to that multimodal input, I'm going to copy this. Looks great. Okay, thanks. Can we make close button a bit smaller, maybe about 1/2 this size? So I'm giving it a request, I'm giving it a suggestion, I'm giving it visual input to act on, just like pair programming. Really, I think I'm going to keep coming back to that in this episode. This feels more like pairing than a copilot. A copilot feels a lot more like advanced autocomplete, and it has value. It has a place, definitely. I'm just not sure if the value to friction ratio is where I would want it to be. Like I said, in Python, you tab, it seems to think I want to take the suggestions all the time, which is definitely not the case. Okay, so it's just saying I need to update a little bit here. It's telling me what it's done. So there's always that explanation of changes. Notifications.css. All right, it's going to do a little change there. You made them circular. I don't know why I put a question mark there, but they've reduced the border radius 50%. So, like a human being, it misunderstood. It's not going to get perfect. That's okay. Just think of these really quick feedback cycles rather than getting some requirements, putting some JIRA tickets in, handing it to a developer, getting to a demo, or doing some kind of product. Here's the A/B testing stuff I always talk about. I get this a lot. And this is super useful. So at the beginning of the stream, I was referring to a scenario where I got this last night, and it wanted everything smashed into one set of files, no components, or everything broken out into components when I asked it to put the menus in and the modal dialog. And so obviously picked the one with components, right? So let's see. Let's keep the close button square with smaller. Excuse me. So one's very verbose. They look very similar. I want to just see what they do. I think it's just the level of verbosity here as to why one's. I'm going to go with the slightly more succinct version here. I think, given the nature of what I was asking, notifications. All right, let's go here. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I still want them up a tiny bit. Let's say that is That is great. Can you move up the close button about, I don't know, 8 to 12, let's just say 12 px? So, yeah, I'm getting nitpicky. I could probably have taken it and went, okay, cool. We'll work on that next. But it's not making my eyes bleed. I have a really low bar on what I want this visual shell to look like, and how I'm going to get there. And for the most part, I'm making really good progress with these things. Like, I really feel that's actually, I'll stretch that out a little bit too here. But I really feel like it's I can partner with it. And it's been a long time since I thought, well, never really, and I could partner with it for ideas, but getting this code to come out has always been such a hard thing, and I don't know how often that's perfect. It's pretty much where I wanted it. Huh. Well, let me try a little experiment. Adjust. Oh, okay, so it's telling me what it adjusted. So if I felt 12px was wrong, I'm very empowered to go now make an adjustment. Maybe I wanted it at 18. Go, change the close button offset, and then I've got that there. That's pretty cool. All right, so I mean things are actually looking good. I am thoroughly impressed. Excuse me here. I'm all coffee and whatnot. So does it close? Oh, it does disappear, and it does disappear. Okay. Obviously, some things to do visually. Some more tweaking. I don't think I'm going to get to the API. I think I'm going to probably end up spending a good chunk of time just dialing this stuff in. Cool. So let's take a screenshot of the modal. Awesome. Oh, I didn't commit. I didn't do my thingy. Get status, get add, commit, -m, styled the cards for notifications. Push, so we had a 3-file change, 21 lines. Some places that's a developer's entire day. I joke. My best average was around 1,000 lines of code a day. Yeah, I was pounding out a lot of stuff. That's tests, that's production code. Those were long days back when I was helping. I was head of engineering for a low-code platform back in 2012, 2013. No, it's been 2014-ish, like 10 years ago. It was fun. Had to do some crazy stuff to make it work. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We got that working. I want to get back to here, and I want to get back to advising this. So what do I want? I probably want, where do I want to start? Let's paste this in and ask for a few things. On the modal, can we make the close an X and remove the progress length and date time. All right, I don't really need that. If I've clicked on it, I probably know. Maybe I'll want it back at some point. I can't say definitively. But for right now, I want to make some tweaks here, make some further adjustments to what's going on. All right, just waiting for things to keep moving here. I'm just going to move my screen up just a little bit. Maybe that doesn't matter. Anyway, I got the modal, okay, telling me to do things. Yeah, just checking my drop rate. I'm looking good. All right. Okay, so here's the modal piece. Maybe I will end up writing something someday that integrates a little bit tighter to the chat and file piece. I would never want to bill it as a full feature I will solve all your problems type thing, but it'd be nice to just streamline this tiny little piece of workflow here. But if I wrote half the code I wanted to write, all I would be doing is writing code 24/7, solving. What did I screw up? I put the wrong thing somewhere. My guess would be here. Modal. Oh, okay. This is in the notifications. Oh, because I'm trying to feed through a modal, aren't I? And it's here. Can I just take that off? And take that off. And take that off. And I'm doing some coding, I know. I'm going to have to feed the component back. I will let it know. Well, that's fine. I broke my rule. It's going to happen. I had to adjust this code. No. What's it going to think? What's it going to tell me here? Alright, doing good. Looking good, updated. Let's give me the updated notifications. Oh, okay. Hold on, what did I break in notifications to only get one? All right, so I somehow lost that. I think everything else is. All right. So now I'm in a bit of a situation. I can't diff. I can't compare. Integration in the tool would be nice. Styled. Okay. The notifications component is missing the other notification. What code do I need to add? All right, so I'm going to be a bit more targeted, not just hey puke out all the code all the time. I'm going to assume that most of this is pretty aligned to what I'm looking for here. That looks pretty good to me. Up to notifications, we need to add a state notification. Okay, here we go. A little bit more. I like this pulled out because it's a step closer to when I want to do the in-memory stuff and what's going to happen there. So we're waiting for all this to come together. Let's see here if I copy that and go plunk that into the notifications. Does everything come through? Oh. Let's see. Got a little bit of back and forth boo-boo here. So I'm going to have to tell it a little something here. I'm going to say, hey, we broke some stuff. Now, if I had tests, probably could run this. You broke the notifications close when you adjusted it for the modal. keep the modal as is and revert the notifications back brown square. Maybe I needed to copy and paste some stuff. Maybe I didn't. Let's see here. It's looking better. Sample video title 2. Here is the contents of the video transcript. For video 2. I could probably do contextual updating. Probably not going to get that. I mean, like the typey update like ChatGPT does. Okay. Let's see. Can we update just the CSS? What happens there? Okay, that's better. Maybe this needs to be updated as 2. So you can see it's great for getting going. This is definitely not something I would put in the camp of always wanting to do. Okay, those are right. So I need to move this down a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, the notifications X is up too high. Can you drop it by about, I don't know, 16 px? So let's see what it does with that information. Okay, it's dropping down by 16 px. Okay, so it's giving me the CSS skin here. So it's telling me where it's dropped it. It's on the close button. Okay, so obviously with some rearranging of the CSS, that has been invalidated. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Where did it say that? Dropped it down. Top 5? Oh, I went up. Okay. So 9. Let's go 12. That looks about where we want it to be. Okay. Where's that line? I want to come tell it. Top 12px. So I'm just going to tell it that it's there. I'm going to go commit the code, get status, get add, get commit -m, fixed up modal info, and okay, that's a bigger change. All right, let's go back here, see what it's done. Okay, cool. But now when I click the X on the notification, it just closes the menu. It does not. And remove the item. Right, so we were in a good place. We're doing a little back and forth. Ideally it would have been nice to kind of go back to that checkpoint and maybe start things over again. It's hard, right? Like I don't have a version history. I don't have some of these things that would just make life a little bit easier for doing this. And that's okay. I'm experimenting. I'm learning what's working, what's not working, what would work for me, what won't work for me. I don't want to get too hung up on that kind of thing. Part of it's process, part of it's building. So this is the process portion of the building. build the thing with generative AI. I want to get to the place where we can actually have a system, we can deal with prompts, we can chat with it, we can start to do a few funky things. So what's it telling me? Okay, so that's the notifications. Let's see if that makes a difference. Reopen, close tab. I don't want to get there. Compile with problems. Let's go back here. Let's let it know. Menu ref is undefined. Now, I know somewhere in this history I had a working version of that code, and that's one of the things with generative. It's hard to really start dialing in the specifics and kind of keep things there. It's pretty good at taking feedback, though. I mean, ultimately, right, like a developer could make the same mistake. It's well within the reason of pairing with someone if this happens. We need to troubleshoot it. We need to figure it out. I don't think it's that far out. It just would be nice to find ways of kind of removing some of that friction in this new paradigm, where I can go back to a version, take it from there. This is the version. Keeping the two things in sync would be nice. Kind of artifacts outside that I'm working with, artifacts in. But we're all learning. We're all trying to figure it out. Okay, let's see here. That looks better. Awesome, we got it. We're back. Git add, git commit, fixed application close issue. Git push. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining. Hopefully, about things not being exactly where I want them. Done. Done. View transcript. Is there any more work I'd want to do? Let me reload the page. I can ask it to do one more thing. If there are no notifications, display message in the menu. Oh, I know it's working. Gosh, my typing is atrocious there. But thankfully the LLM knows what I'm saying. It gets it, generally. Cool. So it's going to add a little bit more complicated logic. Now, things are getting pretty far along. Like I'm happy. Like there's things that still need to be wired up, things that need to be improved. But generally, like I said, oh, hold on, I didn't see that. I have two menus. I'll have to go take that one out. I will do that bit by hand. Always human in the loop, always some element of moving forward here. All right, what do we got? Wants to update that and the CSS, so we'll take the TypeScript. Okay. So we got the no notifications. I don't know what it means on this. Notifications message. There must be some kind of formatting with the no notifications, yeah. Again, it'd be nice to diff, have it just kind of import. Oh no, I don't want to do that one there. It's going to break everything. Go here. All right. No notification. That's so nice. Let's go add that in. Git add, git commit. Added no notifications, text when the menu is empty, git push. All right, let's come back. We were working on the transcript. I'm happy-ish with that. Oh, that footer's gonna bother me. Oh, let's go. I probably missed a footer update somewhere, right? Drop down menu. I don't need a footer left. Drop down menu. That's just a little bit better. A little more what people probably used to seeing. There's probably all sorts of responsiveness that I need to fix. /u, get the state back, view the details. What do I want? I want a copy button on there. On the modal, can you please make a copy button that when clicked, it copies the transcript to the clipboard. Easiest thing. I'm often pasting these into chats right now. I've got crazier ideas, but it'd be nice to just get the text. Like that puts me kind of on parity with the command line version when we get there. But I'm just gonna check the time here. Yeah, I'm coming up on an hour. We usually get to do these in about hour chunks. So I've got some other stuff I'm gonna need to switch over to soon. But it's been a great exercise. I feel like we're pretty much where we need to be to move on to creating that in-memory API version we can tie into. We can start to populate the menu with the notifications with real stuff. We can get things linked through, like I was just saying, we'll get back to parity with the command line version. Now I've got a slick little interface that makes life slightly easier. Well, more than slightly, makes life a lot easier. Okay, so if I go to modal, let's see if this works. I always hope it works. And one of the reasons I commit regularly is if I ever hit a point where things just stop working nicely, I can just revert the code. I mean, it'd be a bit of a pain, but you can revert the code, you can go back, you can edit the message and get a different output. So just keep the context before. At least that's how I understand it to work. Let's take a screenshot. That's not quite what I had in mind. I mean, it is a copy button. But I'm going to say, paste it. Can we move the copy button up to where the title is? Maybe the line below, and make it line below and make it small. So there we go, giving it some input, asking it to make an adjustment. Doesn't need to be perfect. I'm just trying to get a nice expressive shell put together here. And we're very close, and I've had to do almost no coding for this, which is just fantastically amazing. Maybe I could have driven it out faster, but the reality is I've put maybe 4 hours into getting this whole thing put together, which feels like a win. I think from a productivity standpoint, it's faster than if I had to work with maybe a junior or intermediate developer to make this happen. Maybe not. There are good folks out there. There's a whole lot of average folks, and that's okay. Okay, so it's asking me to update the modal. What was that? Okay, so I do need to update the modal. Right, go click on the right thing. And then I update some CSS. And I paste that, and I go look. Did it work? Ooh, almost. Wah. Almost there. Now, flicks with the close button. Can you move it down a line? Between the header and transcript body. Feels like a good enough space for now. Don't need to be perfect. Certainly does not. Probably going to ask it to tweak a few more things, but I think once we get this to the right state, I'm pretty happy with it. It's looking pretty good. All right. Cool videos. Things are moving along. Things are happening. Let's see what's happening over here. Component change, move it to its own line. Like I said, perfection is not the goal. Just something that is mostly usable and mostly built out with AI, generative AI. Unconventional, sure. Room for experimentation, sure. I mean, I guess if I ever get bored at my day job, I'll start out focused on some of these details, these issues. That's okay, man. That seems. I'm happy with that. I do think there is one final tweak I want to do, and that's going to be to increase this to a fixed height and put a scroll bar in. Can you put a max modal? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm getting too picky here. Let me just ask it a question. Does the max height? I could go look at the code, sure, but it wrote it. Hopefully it knows, just like any developer. Max height, it was scroll for overflow. Okay, so it's like, hey, you clearly want one. I don't have one. I don't know. Let's see what it does. Let's go do the thingy. Get status. Get add. Get commit. Added. Copy button to modal. Get push. And if you want to play with this, you want to see what it looks like on your own machine, it's all up there in the repo, links in the description. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so it's done some CSS trickery. It's not really trickery, is it? Somewhere in there. I don't think I have a long enough one. Let's go see what it says for the changes. Said max height. Added max height. Higher than modal to 8% of the viewport height. Added full edge enable scrolling for content succeeding. Okay, it seems sensible. I'm gonna roll with it. Get add. Get commits. Added scrolling and max height. Now, obviously, if you're on a phone, you probably want it to work slightly differently. I don't know why you'd be doing this on a phone, but maybe you have reasons. All right, cool. I think we've done pretty okay. I'm happy with it. I think it looks pretty good for what it is. Things are there. Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's do a quick recap. I'm going to say we got that done. We got the shell drawn. We did a recap. We drove out a lot of components using generative AI in a kind of paired programming sense, not in a copiloting sense. I know that's confusing. I'm going to struggle with it. So it means we can tee up our in-memory API. Plan is to make that in Node. Have it call through the Python, all very synchronous, all very real time. Once I can do that, I'm most definitely going to put a landing page and OAuth in. So let's do that for landing page with demo, OAuth integration, and then getting it to deploy. Just a couple quick little tidbits as we finish up, things I did not touch on. Close. Let's see, close others. No, just close that. Back in here in the app, I was doing a little programming last night with it. In the download audio now has a max minutes. The idea being if you only wanted the first 5 minutes of an audio stream, go get it. So it's going to fetch the whole thing and slice it off for transcription. I just don't know any other way to do it well. I've tried a few different experiments here. None of them worked out. I'm also using up to 4 connections to fetch in parallel. Way, way, way faster. I mean, it's effectively a download manager for YouTube, right? So that's the big change there. You know, this thing's getting really unwieldy. We're at 100 lines just a few days ago. We're over 200. And it's going to continue to grow. I know it is. So it's time to start getting the UI put together, getting the pieces wired in, to start decomposing this. When dealing with the other format types, I found that, you know, chunking is great, but it always resets the timestamps. So there's timestamps for these two formats. If I go look at a VTT, you can see there's timestamps here, and this is the end of the file. These have been clearly reset. They needed to be updated. And if I look at an SRT, the same problem. I've got indexing and timestamps that need to be updated. So I've got a VTT adjust and an SRT adjust, both driven out with generative AI. I did very, very little code. It gave me the shell. I adjusted a few things, got it working. So it'll string that all together. It'll take the raw transcript and make all the adjustments, and it's spot on. It works well. These are obviously subtitling type things where if you're doing shorts or certain types of video, maybe you want that. It's super useful. Also does nice summary context, kind of breaks things into small little chapters. Maybe you can start to query the data differently. I don't know. That's when we start to get into the search side of things, right? Then wait till we start pulling up keyframes to augment all of that, kind of taking advantage of the multimodal. But yeah, I just wanted to point those out. So the idea would be you run the app, and then if you have any adjustments, you run those there. Getting more and more complicated, right? I mean, it'd be nice when all I got to do is paste it here, select VTT, and that all happens behind the scenes. You know, there's not much there. There might be some room for some prompt management here, some basic prompts, like pick some common ones, create them. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole, but there's room to experiment and explore. So with that, you know, thank you for watching. I hope you've learned some things. You found this informative and entertaining. So thank you all, and have a great day.